Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about work knives. Uh, I think pretty much anybody working in any kind of a trade will usually have a pocket knife sitting in their pocket or on their belt loop. It's one of the oldest tools, somewhere between a rock strung around to a stick to make a hammer and the wheel. It's somewhere in there. I'm not a geologist, so I couldn't tell you where it falls. But yeah, I mean, they've been around forever. Me personally, I got my earbuds so I can listen to podcasts while I'm working. I got my little flashlight on my side, and I got my my little knife that I keep in my pocket there. And if any one of those three things are missing, I feel like I'm naked all day. I'm doing one of these jobs. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I mean, there's a lot of knife experts out there who can tell you all about the different materials and all the metals and everything, and I'm not that guy. I mean, I have a medical problem with stuff like that. Sunglasses and knives. If I spend a lot of money on them, I will lose them instantly. If I go cheap on them, they last for years. I don't know what it is. The doctors looked into it and they just told me to be less careless, but I can't help myself. But yeah, so like I said, the knives that I'm going to show today are just kind of the mid-tier style knives, nothing too expensive, and they're work knives. And you don't want to, have like a $200 knife that you're going to be using and abusing. So that's kind of where I fall as far as knives go. So yeah, let's take a look down. I have a drawer where I just throw my old knives in, and we'll take a look down at stuff I've used over the years, why I like them and what I don't like, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, like I said, this is just a selection of knives I just had sitting in a drawer that kind of represent what I've looked at over the years. If I went through all the drawers and I found all the knives, this entire thing would be full because, like I said, I've been carrying a knife ever since I was probably 19 years old. Let's start off with, which isn't necessarily a knife. It has a knife in it, but these multi-tool style jobs. For me, I actually have a real Leatherman sitting in a box in the closet somewhere, so I just feel like getting it out. This is a Blue Point one. But yeah, I mean, as far as multi-tools go, I know how they are very handy for certain people doing certain trades, but for me, I always have my tools right next to me, so the extra bulk of the thing, and why would I pick a a Phillips screwdriver out of this thing when I got a perfectly good real Phillips screwdriver sitting 5 feet away from me. And we got this here Husky here. One thing I like, I think this would be called a drop point knife, I think is what they call these things. Again, this is like a $10, $15, $20 knife. It's nice for what it is. Belt clips nice and tight. The one thing I do like about this one is the serrated edge right here. This is good for cutting stuff like straps and what have you. And yeah, my only problem, well, we'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, and it's got the locking mechanism on the back here, so makes it kind of easy to get it closed once it's open. It's not very good for flicking, but yeah, I mean, it does all right. Now I got this here DeWalt. Again, had this thing probably a couple of years. This particular style blade on the thing with this, what the hell would they call this? It'd be like a Tonto blade, I guess. Like I said, I'm not a knife guy, a knife expert. I'm just kind of going off of what I've heard from other people. But the thing I like about this is that it's got the little squared off edge right here. So if you're cutting something, you don't have to be cutting it like this. You could actually use that little edge right there and cut it alongside that edge. And yeah, this one served me well for a few months while I was using it. Now this is a Old Harbor freight knife, stainless steel. This particular one, I think, is another drop point knife. It's actually a nice knife. I think at the time I bought it, it was under $10. It was like $6, but I mean, nice stout little knife. Didn't break the clip off of it. That's one thing I hate when they break off, because it's basically junk at that point in time. I do not like with these lock open knives when they have the latch sitting inside there like that, because if I got a gloved hand, or if I have my hands are greasy, you just can't get to it, and more often than not, I'm kind of trying to work this thing with one hand. I pull it out of my pocket, and I want to put it away, and then I kind of got to lean on that thing to get it to close. Moving on, this is just kind of a flea market grade knife, I guess we would call it, and this would be like more of a dagger style blade on it. It's only sharp on the one edge, but yeah, like I said, not much utility going on. It does open nice. It would be a open assist knife, and like I said, you get these pretty much anywhere, but it's all right. Now hopping into a more recent Harbor Freight purchase would be this guy right here, and yeah, this actually, for what it is, again, I think it's under $10. I want to say close to $6, but it's a decent enough knife for what it is. Nice if you're like, you don't feel like carrying something big and bulky in your pocket. This guy, nice and lightweight and everything, kind of clips onto the side there. Could use a little loosening of the blade there, but yeah, again, the blade's nice and tight, and yeah. So getting into what kind of led me to get to this video would be these guys down here. Actually, let's talk about this one first. This is just a it's just a, I don't want to hit the camera, it's just a butterfly knife or a bao sung. The funny thing is about these knives is that a lot of places these are illegal, and the best I could come up with is that some stupid politician saw some gang member in a movie whip one of these out and it scared them, so they decided to make them illegal. But I mean, it's really, as far as knives go and as far as opening knives go, it's really kind of inconvenient, to say the least, to open it. It's not quick. It's not any more deadly because you open it that way. But I mean, that's what politicians do. They do stupid stuff. So, but yeah, this particular knife and the rest of these knives, I actually bought off of a company called Grindworks. Completely, totally not affiliated with me. It's just a company I found. I wanted one of these because this is basically a fidget spinner for adults, and they're fun to play with. Again, as far as actually utility for the things, they suck. But yeah, so this is my first purchase from Grindworks, and this would be like a mid-tier butterfly knife. You get these things in the hundreds of dollars with bearings inside here, and all kinds of nice little locking devices. They even sell practice ones if you're worried about shanking yourself with the thing. But yeah, I like I said, it's a fidget spinner for adults. Now moving on to automatic knives. Before we go any further, the legality on these things vary from state to state and country to country. Like I said, they'll sell them to you. Whether or not you're supposed to have them is up to you, so keep that in mind. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, as much illegal stuff I got away with when I was a kid, if I get busted for having a knife, I mean, maybe that's just justice being served. But yeah, keeping with the Grindworks purchases here, I found this guy, which they call these OTFs, which means out the front automatic knife, and I saw this one. It was dirt cheap, and I honestly wouldn't recommend getting one of these ones unless you just want it for the action of it. But it yeah, you just take this little lever here, you slip it forward, and the blade shoots out the front. Again, this is probably the cheapest ones they make. I can't remember the name of it, but they sell different blades with this style handle on their website, where it kind of looks like this whole action here. It's got a little bit of grip tape on it, and it's just cheap pot metal, and you kind of hear it rattling around. But yeah, I think these were right around the $20 mark. Now this knife here, I think would probably be, yeah, it would be my first purchase. This was all black when I first bought it, so I mean, you kind of see what kind of wear I've gotten out of the thing. And this one, just a dagger, basically. My only problem, look at that, I tested ground for it right there. Yeah, this particular one, it's a nice enough knife. Dagger knife really isn't really that great for doing work. It's double bladed, so if you're trying to really push down the thing, pushing down on it like this isn't really that much of an option unless you want to cut your thumb. The nice thing too about these out the front knives is that I mean they come out fairly fairly strongly, but once they hit something, it's more of a flinging action. There's actually a plate in here with 2 springs on it, and it flings it out and actually locks itself in. So it's not actually the spring isn't actually pushing it out all the way. It's more or less flinging it out. So if it does open up in your pocket, it's not going to shank you in the leg. Now moving on to my current knife that I'm using, aside from the one I just bought that we're going to take a look at. Again, same concept as this, with the same type of handle. I found that these style handles, it's just a lot nicer knife. It doesn't have the rattle of the cheaper one. These are in your $30, $40, $50 range. You'll find on their website. It does say USA on the belt clip there. It's not made in the USA, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But yeah, again, you got the little window basher here, so if you're stuck in your car, you can smack that out. This particular one, again, it's a single bladed, more utilitarian, I guess, for a mechanic type deal. So yeah, you can kind of get on it on the back of the blade there and push down and use it for cutting stuff. But yeah, I've used this blade a lot, probably better part of this year, and it's still going strong. Now finishing up, this would be my most recent purchase here. Again, I think it was $35-40 I think for this guy. I think it's like a half a step up from this style right here. I will look on their website and give you the names of these knives that we're looking at here, and that way there you can find one if you want it. But yeah, I think this knife is kind of getting to the point where this would be what I would consider my perfect work knife. On the back here, nice sturdy belt clip, another window smasher coming in the back here, and a little bit slimmer profile, which is kind of nice. And then you got the flick out, and again, like I was talking about with these other knives, I got the serrated edge right here for that sawing action on a strap or something that you need to cut like that. And you got that whatchamacallit, blade profile, the Tonto, as I'm guessing again, where you could cut on that edge without having to have the knife pointing straight up to do any bit of slicing there. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of happy with pretty much every product I've gotten from this company, and yeah, this one right here is probably going to be sitting in my pocket for a few years. So after a quick battery change and a little bit of a camera adjustment, let's take one of these apart and see what's going on inside there. I'm assuming we got to take this guy off, which would be the old window basher. Let's put that over there where it's not going to get lost. And I did lose a couple of screws in this one at some point in time, but I think I got better part of a year out of this guy, so I'm not complaining. Actually, you know what? I think I lost one of these screws and I replaced a screw in this one. So if I was a thinking man, I would have put a little Loctite on them, but apparently I'm not that smart. Alright, I think we probably want to unload that spring, so probably should have did that before I took the screws out. Alright, so the spring's unloaded. Let's pop the top. Hopefully a bunch of stuff doesn't come out and smack me in the face. There you go. So that's basically what we were talking about earlier, is you got this here little bar here with this spring, and then when you hit the lever here, it just kind of loads up that spring and flicks it out, and then the knife locks into position, and then when you go the other way, it goes back down in the other direction. I will say, if you ever have to take one of these apart, because I've done it before and screwed it up, these two little tabs, one here and the one here, they only go in one direction, and if you don't put them in the right direction, the knife won't lock. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, over my years of using these things, I've never had really any problems with them as far as getting stuck or anything of that nature. I have had a couple occasions where I get a penny jammed up in there, and then you just kind of dig it out with some needle nose pliers. But if you ever do want to put a little maintenance, they sell these little low viscosity oil things, and you just kind of drop a little oil on a thing here and there, and yeah, makes it all nice and tidy, and makes it run nice and smooth again. So there we go. That would be what I would consider a perfect work knife for me. Affordable, durable, easy use. Again, the whole OTF thing, automatic. You know, got one hand, open it up, do what you got to do, close it, stick it back in your pocket. I really like that feature on the thing, and yeah, just a durable knife, inexpensive, works good. I don't see how I could go wrong with this thing. I mean, your opinion may differ. Like I said, I'm not a knife expert. I'm just a guy who carries one every day, and I just have my opinions on what I think is good for it. I will put the names of the knives that I featured from Grindworks in the thing if I can find them. Anytime I've ever checked out from there, I usually do it as a guest, so I don't necessarily have an account per se, and hopefully their website comes back up again, because if not, I mean, I don't know what to tell you about how to get knives like this. But yeah, I mean, they sell everything there. It's not only knives, but I mean, they go from cheap flea market style knives up to a couple $100 knives that I wouldn't be able to afford because I'm cheap. Tactical gear, knife accessories, all kinds of cool stuff. It's a very dude-centric website. They even sell California safe knives, or California legal knives. It's a joke. So's California. I mean, it's a state where you could boot heroin on the corner and take a crap on the sidewalk, but you can't have a pocket knife. What are you gonna do? So anyway, yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what you guys look for in a pocket knife. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the old comments section. Do my best to get back to you. I'd like to thank you for watching. There you go.